Hi everyone, and welcome to Shogun SharePoint, episode 17 or so. I'm Ben Jones.
I'm Jim Stallings.
And I'm Claire Willett.
And we're here to talk to you today about taxonomy and what that means to SharePoint and how you can use it to make your SharePoint instance better and more productive. So we should probably first get started with what is taxonomy and what does it mean to you? So,
taxonomy means structure. You can kind of compare it to the example of stuff you learned in 9th grade biology with animals.
What?
Family, genus, species.
Oh.
You know?
right, yeah. So
Yeah.
arachnid, mollusca.
So in terms of SharePoint, though, it means organizing SharePoint content.
Right.
So
And I mean, this is something your users are already doing, right?
Yeah.
If your company has shared folders, or if people are even storing stuff on their own computer in folders, they're already generally organizing it. They'll put it in the My Documents, Work, Expense Reports folder. That's already organizing, that's already providing sort of a taxonomy for that document.
It's just data about data, right? That's the whole meta part. So you're just labeling your information so that you can identify it later by its type instead of by its title. I guess that's what I would.
And by sort of making it a standard operation, you make it easier to basically find things later and make it easier for everyone to find things later, so that I don't use my own crazy naming scheme so that Claire can't find it later.
Right.
By sort of enforcing some rules, you can make it so that everyone can use the data now and later.
So how would you suggest, because I know like overall adoption of metadata is a little less than some people might hope. How would you get the typical end user to start using the procedures that the company would like her to use for metadata?
So I think what's key is there's sort of a couple ways you can do it. First of all, I think the most important part is to make it company policy.
yeah.
This is what you do. This is part of your work.
Can you make it an automatic thing so that anytime someone, say, uploads a document to SharePoint, they have to fill in certain fields?
Yes.
And everything?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that, and
Okay.
that's really a great way to do it. But there you're only going to get the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of want to encourage people to provide the best sort of tags there. So I think if I'm going to tell you, hey, make sure you put the tags there, that's really not going to get you to do it. You really need
Right.
to provide some impetus, some why are we doing this? What is the employee going to get out of it? How is it going to make their job easier? And sort of make them feel that it is part of their job. If you don't do this well, you're not doing your job well. So just in the same way, sort of a software engineer, you would expect them to write good code. Well, now you expect them to write good code and make sure you label your documents when you put them out into SharePoint.
But how are you going to convince them that it's worthwhile? Showing them like the search results?
Yeah, I mean, when you have, say, hundreds of thousands of documents and they're all different, and you don't want to necessarily spread that many documents over, 1,000 document libraries. You want to try to keep everything in a controlled structure, so it just makes taxonomy and tags and terms just make things easier to find. You can filter on document libraries specific terms using the metadata navigation. They can be populated in search. So yeah, I think that's really the effectiveness is being able to find the content as fast as you can.
Right? And I mean, you definitely want to start slow. Sort of really with any new product, you're going to find if you try to go all out, you're going to get some people who adopt all of it, but a much larger number of people who don't adopt any of it, and the project will fail.
It's not a big deal if you get stuck trying to think about a taxonomy. There's companies out there that actually will build a taxonomy for you, and they even have tools available that you can dump that taxonomy directly into SharePoint. So I would say that probably the biggest challenge in the beginning is planning. You need to get the right business units together to decide on terms that you should use, but don't be too worried if you can't. If you get too big of a number or too little of a number, just focus on getting something in SharePoint.
So what do you think, because I don't know if all of you know this, I just found out there's taxonomy, which is decided by management or the administrator. It's a preset, like any number of terms, but they've been predefined by somebody else. And then there's folksonomy, which is you and any user can, any level of permission can set keywords on the fly. So they're like, I'm uploading a document, and I don't know if there's, maybe it's a document about bacon, and I don't know if there's any bacon documents in our library yet. So I'm like, okay, tagging this with bacon. Well, that can be. Do you think that's could be an inefficient way? Do you think, between choosing a set, should I take the time to see if it already has been termed, or should I just make a keyword because that's a faster thing to do?
A lot of this stuff will be pre-populated, so
Okay.
if there's something similar to that term,
So if I start typing in bacon,
Yeah.
it'll be like, oh, that's already a term.
yeah, that's already
You
a
might
term.
even see, and you can set up synonyms so that, say we link, say, bacon and delicious breakfast meats together.
Right.
When you start typing bacon, you'll see that, well, there's already a term there that says delicious breakfast meats.
So why be
tag it.
redundant? Okay.
Right, I'm going to tag it with that one. So
Right.
it's, and anything that you add, so maybe you're saying, well, no, I really want bacon here. This is very specifically about bacon. Any future users that want to use that term will also be able to use that term.
Okay,
And
so in
there's-
order for them to use that term, as soon as I type it, does that make them able to use it again, or does it have to be elevated to something else?
So as soon as you add it, they can use it.
Okay.
And using synonyms, now when someone types bacon into the search,
Mhm.
they'll see the item specifically about bacon, and since it has a synonym, delicious breakfast meats,
They'll also see that.
they'll also see
Okay.
the other information, and your
Okay.
search will say, well, hey, you typed in bacon, I have all this information about delicious breakfast meats, do you want to see that too? So it really provides you with sort of more intelligent search.
All right. Okay.
But if you can add keywords to the term store, that means you can allow your taxonomy to grow kind of organically, right?
Yeah, so if administrators or term store owners or term list owners see common keywords coming across, and they can kind of introduce that into their structured taxonomy environment. And yeah, like you said, it can just grow organically.
Cool.
Yeah. So we also wanted to tell you that we're going to be at the SharePoint conference. Or
These two are.
we're going to be at. We're leaving Jim Stallings
I have
behind
servers
to
to maintain.
hold down the fort and make sure that this place stays running. You can visit us.
Booth 630.
Yep, it's going to be a pretty happening time.
It's an exhausting booth schedule, so
Are
if
you
you're going
guys?
to be there any of the days, we will be there too.
Are you guys giving away anything?
We're giving away a new playbook.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to get we have to scan your data
Mm-hmm.
for you to win this playbook.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be the tap badge ones. Those are so much easier to use than the scans. I can never get the optical scan things to work.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a number of sort of after extracurricular events as well.
Mhm.
The Red Party's coming up. The hosted SharePoint, which
Disneyland.
is
Oh yeah, the
October Fiesta, which is
Yeah, I'm ironing my dirndl right now. for
Dirndl.
that.
I was going to bring later clothes. I don't know about you. And a poncho, later hosen and a poncho.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, there's a couple people wrote some pretty great blog posts about the social stuff going on. I think Dux has a post up, and so does Joel Olson. So if you're looking for parties after the day, I'd recommend checking either of those out. And for more on metadata, I was just reading some really good blog posts by Andrew Connell and Fabian Williams. They're both pretty much metadata maestros. So
Yes.
thanks guys for your information. And I guess that's all we got today. But we will see you next week for episode 21.